All right, hey nerds. So, I'm going to continue my series on Habermas's philosophical discourse of modernity, and of course, Habermas was a critical theorist in the Frankfurt School in the 20th century, and they're often mislabeled as cultural Marxists, even though there wasn't anything Marxist about them, and they just analyzed institutions of the modern era, such as government, religion, and science. And anyway, he also talks about Aristotle's opinion about on politics in this paragraph, and Aristotle, of course, was one of the most famous philosophers of all time, famous ancient Greek political philosopher. And for this paragraph, it's interesting. They had different perspectives on politics. So Habermas and Aristotle represent contrasting approaches to understanding social and political life, though some scholars argue for a conceptual connection between Habermas's public sphere and Aristotle's political philosophy. Aristotle, though, focuses on the telos or purpose of political life, while Habermas emphasizes communicative action and the role of rationality in shaping social and political structures. So let's get into the paragraph here. Okay, so in the Aristotelian tradition, the old European concept of politics as a sphere encompassing state and society was carried on without interruption into the 19th century. On this view, the economy of quote unquote the entire household, a subsistence economy based on agrarian and handicraft production and expanded through local markets, forms the foundation for a comprehensive political order. So basically, like 18th century, what sounds like basically 18th century feudalism is the way that society should be politically organized. Basically, it seems like the old European concept followed this apparently Aristotelian tradition of all these details to do with 18th century feudalism in Europe. Apparently, this would mesh with Aristotle's position on political life. So anyway, social stratification and differential participation in or exclusion from political power go hand in hand. The constitution of political authority integrates a society as a whole. So all of society has to obey political authority, otherwise society doesn't work. That's Aristotle's opinion, right? Which is obviously oversimplified because you don't have to obey authority, and often people don't, and then there are revolts and entire changes of systems of government, etc. And you could say that for the most part people obey authority, though, and that does allow a society to function because most people follow most of the rules most of the time, right? In theory anyway. Okay, so this conceptual framework no longer fits modern societies in which the commodity exchange, organized under civil law of the capitalist economy, has detached itself from the order of political rule. So the capitalist economy is not controlled by the political authority of the government anymore. Through the media of exchange value and power, two systems of action that are functionally complementary have been differentiated out. The social system has been separated from the political. A depoliticized economic society has been separated from a bureaucratized state. So there's a separate bureaucratic state and a separate uh, economic political economy in our society, basically, like a separate bureaucratic state and a separate political economy. So this development has put too great a strain upon the classical doctrine of politics. Since the end of the 18th century, it is split apart into a social theory grounded in political economy on the one hand, and a theory of the state inspired by modern natural right on the other. So basically, the theory of the state inspired by modern natural right is more Aristotle's opinion, basically. But then the social theory, and that social theory goes against or is in opposition to the one grounded in political economy. So the way that society has functioned is changing. So should should society, in terms of the way societies should organize itself, should they follow Aristotle's example and all of the populace basically obey political authority, and that's how society functions? or is and basically integrate the state and economics are integrated, which sounds Marxist, but it was like just the way that this happened in ancient Greece apparently. So it's actually the opposite of that because it's part about the natural right to rule, like the divine right of kings that they're chosen by God to rule and that sort of stuff, versus this social theory that involves separating political life from the bureaucratic state. So I agree definitely a lot more with Habermas. We shouldn't just unquestionably don't just unquestionably obey authority of the government, man. Like separate the state from economics, separate politics and social life from the government. Keep economics separate from the government, etc. But that sounds like a libertarian view, but that's not the way he means it. He means that we should accept government and we should accept economics and have them together but separate. But government should still be monitoring economics, and economics shouldn't be just unfettered. There shouldn't just be unfettered free markets like anarcho-capitalists want. But I think the point remains that it's better, instead of having the divine right of kings and just unquestionably obeying political authority, let's have a political economy where people interact together in society and function and understand that the people in power are just people like the rest of us. What do you know? Fuck the divine right to rule. That shit is stupid.